The silver bell on the marble table was tiny, but its sound ruled the house. 1 chime. Maids hurried. 2 chimes. They ran. Today, it fell. Evelyn's trembling hand knocked it off the table. The bell rolled across the floor and vanished under the Persian rug. She blinked at the empty space, confused, frightened. "Robert," she whispered. "Where are my shoes? Your father is waiting for me at the station." Her son, Robert Hale, billionaire, iron suit, perfect tie, stood 5 steps away with his board of directors. He froze. Cameras were set up for a charity announcement. Investors watched on screens. Timing was everything. A young maid moved before anyone else. Sophia. Plain uniform. Scuffed shoes. Quick eyes. She knelt and found the bell, but she didn't ring it. She tucked it into her apron and came close, soft as a lullaby. "Mrs. Evelyn," she said gently. "It's Tuesday. Do you remember the Tuesday sunlight on the orange trees?" Evelyn's gaze wandered. Panic flickered. I lost the tickets." Sophia offered both hands. "That's okay. We'll write new ones." She folded a napkin into 2 tiny tickets, slid one into Evelyn's palm, and smiled. "Platform 3. Right on time." Silent moment. Evelyn stares at the napkin, breathing slows. A murmur rippled across the room. Some guests smirked. "Is this a show?" whispered Emma, the head housekeeper, expensive watch glittering. John, the family lawyer, frowned at his notes. Michael, the chief of security, touched his earpiece, waiting for orders. Robert's jaw flexed. He hated surprises. Investors hated them more. Evelyn's fingers found Sophia's. "You're kind," she whispered. "You sound like my mother." Sophia kept her voice warm. "You're safe." She guided Evelyn to a chair beside the sunlit window. "Let's count the trees," she said. 1, 2, 3. She made it a small game. A rhythm. A way out of fear. Silent moment, only leaves rustling outside. The room changed. The tension softened. A human moment outshone all the crystal and chrome. Robert watched without blinking. He had spent millions on art, technology, and reputation. Nothing moved his mother like this girl's simple paper ticket. "Who trained her to do that?" a director hissed. "Not me," Emma muttered, spine tight. "She's new. From the agency. Barely vetted." Sophia tucked a strand of hair behind her ear. Her hands still shook. But her eyes were steady. She handed Evelyn a cup of warm chamomile. "Sip," she said. Slow and sweet. Have you ever seen someone's dignity held together by a stranger's soft voice? Would you step in, even if no one told you to? What's more valuable, money or a moment like this? Robert stepped forward at last. "Sophia," he said. His tone was cold. The room braced for impact. "You just broke 3 house rules," he continued. "You touched Mrs. Evelyn without permission. You interrupted an event. And you hid the service bell." He took a breath. "Come with me." Everyone stared. To promote her, or punish her? The door to Robert's private study swung open, and what he did next would make the entire city talk. Robert's study felt like a courtroom. Dark wood, harsh light, a wall of silent books. Michael stood to the side like a statue. John arranged pens with surgical care. Emma lingered near the door, arms folded. Sophia stood alone. Robert placed the silver bell on the desk between them. It looked small again. Harmless. "Why did you put this away?" he asked. Sophia met his eyes. "It frightens her. The sound is sudden. It breaks her clarity." "She has Alzheimer's," John said. "Consistency matters. Dignity matters more," Sophia replied softly. Silent moment. Robert's fingers rest on the bell, unmoving. Emma clicked her tongue. "We can't bend rules every time a maid feels sentimental." Sophia's jaw tightened. It wasn't sentimental. I learned this with my grandmother. Soft cues. Gentle transitions. A paper ticket tells her mind where to go. Michael watched her carefully. You've worked memory care? In life, she said. Not on paper. Robert leaned back. This house runs on precision. This family runs on love, Sophia said, voice almost a whisper. Or it used to. The air cooled. John glanced at Robert. A line had been crossed. A knock broke the tension. A uniformed officer stepped in with a grim expression. We received a call, he said. A report of theft in the residence. A necklace, emerald, vintage, missing from Mrs. Evelyn's jewelry box. Emma's brows rose. Incredible. Michael turned to the officer. Who's the suspect? The officer looked at a note. Sophia. The word hit the room like a dropped plate. I didn't. Sophia began. We have footage of you near the jewelry room, the officer added. Time stamped. Sophia swallowed. I was fetching the chamomile. Emma's gaze was cold. Convenient. Robert said nothing. Nothing at all. Have you ever been accused when your hands were clean? Have you felt a room tilt against you, even as your heart stayed steady? What would you say if no one believed you? Evelyn appeared in the doorway, cardigan crooked, napkin, ticket, clutched tight. Her voice shook. Don't take her. She kept me from getting lost. Silent moment, Evelyn and Sophia lock eyes, a silent plea. John cleared his throat. Officer, we'll handle this internally. The officer shook his head. The report was official. By whom? Robert asked. The officer checked. Anonymous call from inside the house. Emma exhaled like a sigh. Shocking. Michael's gaze slid toward the hall cameras. I'll pull every angle. Robert's voice was flat. Proceed with the process. Sophia blinked. You're letting them. We don't interfere with police, Robert said. Cuffs clicked around Sophia's wrists. The bell stared from the desk, gleaming and cruel. As the officer turned Sophia toward the door, Evelyn whispered something that made Robert look up sharply. Robert, Platform 3. Don't miss it again. The courtroom smelled like old paper and polished fear. Reporters sat like hungry birds. A trending topic pulsed outside. Billionaires made arrested. People took sides without knowing the story. Sophia stood at the defense table in a borrowed blazer. Hands steady. Eyes clear. The judge, a woman with silver hair and stern patience, read the charge. John spoke for the family. Measured words. Careful distance. We support the investigation, he said. We want the truth. Emma sat behind him, lips pressed so tight they were almost white. Michael stood at the back, calm, unreadable. Then the side door opened. Evelyn entered on Michael's arm. A tiny figure in a lavender shawl. The room went soft. Cameras lowered. Something sacred had stepped in. Evelyn looked lost. Noise pained her. She clutched the napkin ticket like a child. Robert? She asked, voice thin. Robert was late. He walked in at that moment. No entourage, no statement. Just a man in a suit who looked tired. Sophia saw Evelyn flinch at the hum of fluorescent lights. She reached into her bag. Lavender sachet. She breathed it in first, then offered it to Evelyn. Train time, she whispered. Platform 3. Remember. Evelyn blinked. Platform 3, she repeated, the words a rope over a river. Her shoulders relaxed. Silent moment, two hands share lavender, the courtroom watches. The judge raised a brow. Is the grandmother a witness? My mother, Robert said quietly. He turned to the bench. Your Honor, may I speak? The judge considered him. Briefly. Facts only. Robert's gaze swept the room. I authorized a review of all footage. Not just one hallway. He nodded at Michael. Michael stepped forward with a tablet. Images flickered on the screen. Sophia guiding Evelyn past the jewelry room. Emma entering the same room 10 minutes earlier. Emma leaving with a small velvet box, tucking it under a stack of linens. Gasps. Emma's face drained. I was moving it for safekeeping, Emma stammered. There was a leak. Michael zoomed. A reflection in the glass. Emma's hand opened the box. The emerald necklace glittered in the reflection. The lid closed. Robert's voice was cold now. You framed her. Emma trembled. I thought she'd replace me. She made me look small. Sophia's eyes softened. Everyone can feel small, she said. Even here. The judge slammed the gavel. Charges against Ms. Sophia are dismissed. Bail is vacated. Return her property. Evelyn stood, shaky but fierce. She is my friend, she said, pointing at Sophia. Don't lose the train again. Silent moment, Evelyn's eyes meet Robert's. A son hears a mother he thought he'd lost. Have you seen power bend in real time? Have you watched fear turn into relief you can taste? What would you do if the truth cut through the room like sunlight? Robert faced the crowd. You want a headline, he said. Here it is. I was wrong. He drew a breath that seemed to cost him. And I'm not done being wrong. He reached into his briefcase, pulled out a thick document, and said, I'm signing something today that will change this house, and my company, forever. Rain hammered the city that night. The mansion's lights made the windows glow like ships at sea. Inside, everyone waited for Robert's promised change. Gossip swirled. Phones buzzed. The bell was back on the table, but no one touched it. Evelyn wandered. It happened fast. A door forgot to latch. A hallway gate left open for a delivery. The storm pulled at the curtains, and somewhere in her mind, a train pulled into a station from years ago. By the time Michael noticed the empty suite, the garden camera showed a cardigan slipping into rain. She's outside, he barked. Alarms flashed. Guards scattered. Emma, no longer head housekeeper, but still in the house under investigation, curled on a bench and cried. Sophia grabbed a flashlight and a coat that wasn't hers. She'll follow music, she said, breathless. Or lights. Or a smell she trusts. What smell? Robert asked, already racing beside her. Lavender, Sophia said. And sweet tea. They sprinted into the storm. Gravel splashed. Wind roared. The orange trees bent like old men praying. Evelyn. Sophia called. Platform 3. No answer. Only thunder. They reached the far lawn. Mud sucked at their shoes. Robert stumbled, cursed, got up. Why would she run? He asked, voice rough. She isn't running, Sophia said. She's searching. She lifted the flashlight and caught a shimmer near the lake. There. Evelyn stood on the small footbridge, rain slicking her hair to her face. The water below was dark and wild. She clutched the napkin ticket, soaked and torn. I'm late, she whispered. Your father. He'll leave without me. Sophia stepped onto the bridge slowly. Trains wait for the people they love, she said. He's waiting. But the platform is warm, not cold. Come back inside. We'll make tea. Evelyn shook her head. I can't find the station. Sophia held up the lavender sachet, now damp but still fragrant. Right here, she said. Close your eyes. Breathe. Silent moment, Evelyn inhales, wind howls, time pauses. Robert stood at the foot of the bridge, hands empty, eyes full. He had never looked so human. Mom, he said. His voice cracked. I'm here. Evelyn opened her eyes. Confusion softened. Robbie, you were so late. I know, he said. I'll be early now. Sophia reached out. Platform 3, she whispered. Let's go. Evelyn nodded, took Sophia's hand, and stepped toward safety. Then the bridge groaned. Wood shifted. A plank snapped. Sophia grabbed Evelyn and lurched. The flashlight skittered into the river. Darkness swallowed the path. Have you ever felt the ground give way and known you had one choice: hold on or lose everything? Would you trust a stranger's voice more than your own fear? Robert lunged forward, caught Sophia's wrist with one hand and his mother's with the other, rain blinding him, while, back at the house, a courier arrived with a signed document that would stun the world. They made it off the bridge in a scramble of wet hands and scraped knees. Michael reached them first, throwing his coat around Evelyn's shoulders. Sophia kept talking, anchoring the moment. Warm light. Dry towel. Kettle singing. Inside, the house felt different. Like a heart beating again. Robert stood in the foyer, dripping. He looked at Emma. She rose, ashamed, waiting for the blow. He looked at John. The lawyer's mouth was a thin line. He looked at Michael, steady as a lighthouse. Then he looked at Sophia. "I promised a change," he said hoarsely. "You all heard me." He raised the document, edges damp but legible. "Effective now, we're creating the Evelyn Trust. 10% of Hale Holdings. A permanent fund to build memory care centers in this city and beyond. Real homes. Real training. Real dignity." The room gasped. Phones flew up. Headlines wrote themselves. Sophia put a hand to her mouth. "Sir." Robert wasn't finished. "Sophia will be Director of Dignity and Care," he said. "That's her title. She will design training for every employee in my company, from janitors to executives, on compassion, communication, and ethical response for Alzheimer's and dementia. She has full authority in this house to set protocols for my mother's care. If you disrespect her, you disrespect me." His gaze flicked to Emma. "And that includes you." Emma's chin trembled. "I don't deserve forgiveness." "Maybe not today," Sophia said softly. "But people are more than their worst moment." Silent moment. Emma looks at Sophia like a door has opened. Robert turned to John. "Dissolve the NDAs around my mother's condition. No more hiding. We tell the truth. If the market punishes us, I don't care." John blinked, then nodded. "Yes, sir." Robert faced the camera his PR team had quietly set up. He took a breath. "No script. No mask. You've seen me build things," he said. "You've seen my houses. My planes. My deals. None of that matters if my mother is afraid in her own home. Sophia taught me that with paper and kindness. I'm not asking for applause. I'm asking for better." He turned back to Evelyn. Gently, he placed the silver bell beside the napkin ticket. "Mom," he said, "this bell can rest." Evelyn smiled faintly. "Platform 3, she murmured. "Right on time." Later, when the hallways were quiet and the storm had softened to a whisper, Robert found Sophia on the back steps, wrapped in a blanket, hair still damp. "You saved her," he said. "She saved me," Sophia replied, surprised at her own words. "My grandmother died last year. I didn't get to say goodbye the way I wanted. Your mother, she gave me another chance to be gentle." Robert nodded, eyes glassy. "I used to think money was control. Maybe it's a chance to choose the right thing and pay for it gladly." He held out a small box. Inside lay the emerald necklace, cleaned and shining. "For the first center," he said. "Auction it. Let it start something good." Sophia closed the lid. "Thank you." Have you ever seen power kneel to kindness? Have you felt how a simple act, one voice, one hand, one paper ticket, can turn an empire toward mercy? What would you build if someone finally believed in your small, steady courage? Silent moment, rain tapping the railing, two people watching the dawn. If you were Robert or Sophia, what house rule would you change first to protect someone's dignity, and why? Share your story below. Your answer might teach someone how to be brave at the exact moment it matters.